One of the most painful experiences in life, second only to acute suffering in the moment, is the sting of disappointment. In this video, I'm going to talk about what I refer to as the perpetual state of disappointment avoidance. And this is a kind of cleverly cloaked or wrapped stoic concept. And I've come up with a unique way to frame it. And so this is what I'm talking about in this video. We all know what it's like to be disappointed. And I think there are different levels of disappointment. You can be disappointed when the coffee you order ends up tasting like garbage. You can also be disappointed when you ask your child to do something and they say they will and they don't. And then there's a higher tier form of disappointment where, let's say you sign on for a new job, you quit your old one, you're expecting great things, and it turns out to not be anything like what you anticipated, and in fact, they treat you like absolute refuse. So there are all kinds of disappointment in life. We all experience it. Some of us experience it every day if our optimism is unrealistically high and we expect the best out of people, or we expect all the cars on the roadway to follow the rules of traffic at all times. If you get behind the wheel of your car and you expect that from the drivers around you, you are going to be sorely disappointed probably every minute of every day that you are operating that vehicle. And so this sets the stage for what I'm calling the perpetual state of disappointment avoidance. I have a good friend who got married when she was in her late 20s to a man who she genuinely thought she understood. He was a kind man, generous, attractive, seemed like he had his poop in a group, only to find out decades later that he was an abusive, controlling narcissist. Talk about disappointment. Of course, along with that disappointment came years of investment into someone who turned out to be Satan's spawn. My point, though, is that everywhere we look, in every decision we make, everywhere we go, with every encounter we have, we are priming ourselves either to be disappointed or to be pleased with the outcome of something. And it all depends on what we choose to expect from the experience. If I go into a new job, for example, just to use the prior example, and I might hope that it goes well, but I'm also prepared for the possibility that my boss could be a controlling asshole, or that my job description could be wildly inaccurate. And if it turns out to be the case that my boss is a controlling asshole, and that my job asks way more or demands way more of me than they laid out in the job description, then I'm not as disappointed as I would have been had I gone into this with rose-colored glasses. So the reason why I am making this video at all is because I don't think that enough of us have an accurate view of the futures in front of us, because we have been conditioned to hope for the best, expect the best out of people, look for the best in people. Sure, do that. Look for the best in people. I think that's generally good advice. But if you go about your day and you presume that the people around you are going to react like decent human beings, let's just put the bar in the middle and say decent. If you're expecting mid out of everything at a basic level, I'm sorry to tell you that you're going to be disappointed. Because on the whole, people are not generally good across the board. There are outliers. I would like to think that I'm one of them. I would like to think that I'm a good person. But let me tell you a brief story of something that happened recently that underscores this point I'm making. I was at a Starbucks earlier in the week. I think it was Monday. Getting my coffee. I pay for my coffee. I leave the Starbucks, and then on my way back to my vehicle, I look on the ground, and there is a wallet sitting there. And I look around, and there's no one looking for their wallet. It is not obvious to me that anyone near me had lost this wallet, and so I picked up this wallet, and I decided to make it my goal to return this wallet to its rightful owner. I get back in my vehicle, I open the wallet, and there is no less than $500 in cash. There were a couple of $100 bills, a 50, and like a couple of 20s. A lot of money in this wallet. There's also a license with the name and address on it. There is some other stuff in there. There is a gift card that's unused. This wallet was probably worth about $500 or $600 just on the surface, looking at it. And I thought, oh boy, what an opportunity for me to have a redemptive experience. How about this? Oh boy, I'm excited. I'm excited because I get to be the good guy, and this is critical to tell you, there is no way this can't go bad. This is the mistake I was making. There is no way, there is no scenario in which me returning this wallet could turn out bad for me. Because I am doing the right thing. I am going to find this person, come hell or high water. I will track them down, and I will return this wallet stuffed with the cash that they had in it when they lost it. There's no way this could go bad for me. No way. It takes me 3 days to find this guy. He is an absolute ghost on the internet. I send LinkedIn messages to him. I track down the company he works for. I try to find his name and information in the internet version of the yellow pages or white pages. And no dice. I drive to the location on his license 3 or 4 times. No answer. I leave a note for him telling him I have his wallet. More time goes by. I start thinking that I'm going to have to donate this money, or I'm going to go to a local police office or police department and turn the wallet in and just hope for the best. But that wasn't the ideal scenario, because who knows what the cops are going to do or how far they're willing to go to find the owner of this wallet. It may stay in their files or their records for months before they find whoever it is who owns it, because they've got bigger fish to fry. I get that. But here's what happened. And this is the important point I want to drive home here. I find the guy finally. He returns my phone call and says, "Hey man, you've got my wallet. Can you bring it back?" I said, "Absolutely." And so I get in my car. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. I have his wallet. It's got all the money in it. I'm doing the thing that I would want done if it were my wallet. And I get there. The guy shows up, and he's got a frown on his face, and he's confused. And I'm not sure what's going on. If it were me, I'd be thrilled that I got my wallet back, complete with all the money I had in it. The first question out of his mouth, "Hey man, why did it take you 3 days?" That was the first thing he said to me. There was no thank you. There was no, "Oh my gosh, you're amazing. And all my money's in here. I'm flabbergasted. Here, take a 20 for your time and effort, guy." No, it was, "What took you so long?" I would have thought that within 3 days I would have got this back. And he just had this genuine confusion about why it took so long for me to spend so much of my time tracking this dude down. And I didn't even mention to him that this was I had been to his door 3 times before finally getting his wallet back in his hands. Or that I had tried to find him on LinkedIn. Or that I had searched, public databases for his first and last name. So I handed him his wallet. I shook his hand and I said, "Hey man, glad that you got this back. Have a great day." He still had questions for me as I was leaving that exchange. He still wanted to know more. about why it was that it took so long to get this guy back his wallet. So here's the thing. I tell you this story because I entered into that experience convinced that there was no way that the outcome of this exchange could go poorly. I am returning someone's wallet. I am going to be the hero in their life, even if it's only for a few moments. And heck, you know what? Maybe I'll get a reward. Maybe he'll throw me a $20 bill or something out of the 500 plus that he had stuffed in his wallet. But no. The guy was ungrateful, and he wanted an explanation for why it took 3 days. So, like, here I'm going to circle back to the point of this video, which is that your life will become smoother and less riddled with tumult if you presume that all of your future interactions with people, with yourself, heck, with animals, with the inanimate universe of objects around you, if you presume that things are just going to go poorly and that you are just going to receive the bitter end of whatever happens in life, if you go about your day expecting that, the chance that you're going to be disappointed will drop through the floor, and this is what you want. Now, if you're one of those eternally optimistic people and you just cannot be convinced that life should be lived this way, and that instead, expect the best in the world, look for the good, find the light among the darkness. You know what? I'm telling you, that is going to run your resources dry. And you're going to reach middle age or older, and you're going to be bitter, and you're going to wonder what the hell happened. Because this is not how the world works. So, this is really just a cleverly described Stoic approach to living life. The Stoics, in my opinion, had it right. Seneca and the rest of them, Marcus Aurelius, they all basically said the same thing. And that is that, you should be expecting trials to come your way. You should be expecting adversity. Don't ever, for one moment, think that the road ahead of you is going to be smooth, because the moment you do, you will be blindsided with disappointment and you will be the worse for it. So, it is my recommendation that in this video you at least consider the merits of being in a state of perpetual disappointment avoidance. Join me in this, and I think life will go much better for you. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.